And we've got it. Ah, la 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 la, kawaii desu. Hey guys, I'm Lana and this is Lucy. Yeah. Hi. And welcome to the Princess Pet Diaries, where we make matching clothes, go on girls' day out, and cook some dog-friendly treats. So today we will be making a perfectly Lucy-sized pattern to make her very first homemade harness. Okay, so this is the design that we are gonna go with. There are a lot of different types of harnesses. So they have these types that click at the back, or they have these types which are made of Velcro. So Lucy in particular loves to run, so we want to make sure it's a little bit more breathable. So we're going to go with the first type just so it's a little bit more easy for her to move around and so she doesn't get overheated, because it has been quite hot lately. Okay, so to do this you're going to need just some random fabric, like some calico, or if you have one, an old t-shirt that you don't mind chopping up to become your baby's little harness pattern. Yay! Ooh, yay! Boop. And you're also gonna need some pens, scissors, and some paper as well. So let's get started. Okay, so I just wanted to show you guys first. This is the fabric that we've got for the actual harness. So it's super cute. It's gingham fabric, and it's got flowers that are pink and green, and then it's pink on the inside, which is perfect for spring. And then we have the mesh for the inside, which Lucy seems to really like. Look at her go. And it's just a nice breathable mesh. Okay, but that's not the fabric that you want to use for what we're about to do. For what we're gonna do, you just want to use this type of fabric. And what we're gonna do is just cut it into kind of like an estimated size of her chest area. Not too small, but not too big that it's, you know, hard to like use. So let's get it ready. Also, I bought like a box with sewing goods and stuff because I had lost a lot of mine. But I stuck a Lucy sticker on it. Isn't it adorable? Look at her go. Rah! You can see the similarities. So this is just the size that we've got for the next step. So this is Lucy. There's a baby screaming outside. She's a bit intrigued. And this is the size of the fabric. It's a little bit big, but it's not too big. Okay. And for this one, a lot of people use like chalk pencil and stuff to draw outlines and stuff, but because we're going to be doing it on her body, yes, it's a very basic type of makeup pattern thing. I'm just going to use a texture because I'm not going to keep it anyway. So let's try and mark out the shape we want. I know this looks really, really horrible and it looks like I'm doing it wrong, but just trust the process. Just get it to her and kind of just like mark out where you want the straps to go until, where are her armpits, where is the neck kind of thing. And it is really hard and you might need to do it more than once, but just trust the process. Something like that. Okay, and I know what you're all thinking, like, you know, how is that gonna be a harness? Like, look at that. Well, we can do it because these are two harnesses that we've got. I want a little bit more support than this one, so I want it a little bit thicker, but this one has like a straight top, but so when she wears her collar she has like a little name tag, right, and it comes down, so I want it to be like a triangle, kind of like a mini v-neck kind of thing, right? So we're gonna make it more v-necky than this and a little bit bigger because this one's also just one size too small. So we're gonna use the imagination and draw. Let's go. Okay, so now you actually want to draw the actual shape, and I was a little bit unsure, so I compared it to a couple of the other harnesses that I have got, and you can see that my one's a lot bigger, which I did end up cutting it down in size, but just draw a general idea, fold it in half and cut it so it's the same size on both and it's not uneven or anything. and then just go from there. It's just your first try, so you can change it after, so it doesn't have to be perfect. So let's give it a go. Okay, so and just ignore me screaming in the background. My baby was trying to escape. But we're just putting it on, seeing how it is. It's a bit big, so I'm just trying to feel out where her armpits are, not in a weird way. But I pretty much did this process, I think it was 3 times. And then you can see that this time it is a lot smaller and it's getting a lot closer. And then even after this though, I did cut it down one more time. But it's better to cut it too big than too small, because you can always make it smaller, but you can't make it bigger again, if that makes sense. Okay, so after trimming maybe 2 or 3 times, we did get the final shape that we wanted to. Okay, so just to compare it, here we go. This is the first one. So it's a similar width, but it's a little bit wider, and these bits are a lot longer and it's a bit rounder at the bottom. Okay, and then this is the manchette. Ooh, okay. So this one's, the one that we just measured is actually skinnier in the middle, and it's also longer and more rounder, I guess. Yeah. Okay, there we go. So, but this is the one that we're gonna go for. Hopefully it works. So I do like the rounded corner more than the square one, so we're gonna go with the rounded corner, and we're gonna turn this into a pattern. Yay! So get your paper. Also, just to ignore Lucy in the background, she can see a bird. But so we're just tracing it out. We want to put it onto paper so we can turn it into a pattern. And remember to fold this one in half as well to make sure it is the same on both sides, because otherwise it's going to be uneven. And cut with normal scissors, not with fabric scissors. I accidentally grabbed my fabric scissors. But yes, so this is the base of the pattern, but you need to add seam allowance. So what I'm doing is I'm drawing it again on another piece of paper because I forgot. And I'm adding 1 centimeter of seam allowance because I'm pretty sure that should be enough because we're just bagging it. But this is the seam allowance that you need it to do the 1 centimeter. And you're just kind of like dotting it out and then connecting the dots, and then you're just cutting it out. But yeah, make sure this is also even, because otherwise it will not be a nice shape. Good luck. Okay, so we have cut it out and it looks a bit like this. So the orange line is the actual harness, and then this bit is the seam allowance. So it's 1 centimeter of seam allowance, which I hope is enough, but not too much. And the next step is to cut out the actual fabric. And so you can see on this design how what they have is they've got the 2 layers, the one of the mesh and the one on the front. And then they've got this little thin piece and they've pretty much wrapped it around and set it down. But we do not have the machine or the patience to do this. But you can see on this one, because it's the fluffy fabric, I'm assuming, they don't have it. And what they've actually done is a little bit of a line where they've sewed down, and so they've bagged it. And that is what we're gonna do for this one, simply because we do not have the sewing machine for it. So we need to cut out one of these in the mesh and then one of these in the gingham, and then that's pretty much it. Let's go. Yay! Boop. Okay, so now we're on to the hard work of cutting out the fabric, and ooh, I did make a mistake. So you see how I'm putting it right next to the end on like the side? With mesh, it actually goes down on the side, right? So it was very like deflated. So I ended up cutting out a new one. So just be careful with your mesh and where you cut it out. But so we want to make sure that we've got the seam allowance. It's all nice and cut nicely. And that's pretty much it. So this is the mesh, and then this is the one on the outside. And this is where mistake 2 came in. So I wanted to do like a little embroidered loose on it, right?
But because I've cut it out, it's going to be really hard to embroider it because I can't, you know, put it in the embroidery thing. So be careful. And these are all of the things that I used in the process. So I've got the calico one, the pattern, the one with seam allowance, my inside and my outside. And these are all the hooks and the strings and stuff that I'm going to be using for the straps and the embroidery, which we'll see if we can still do. Yay!
Okay, so that is all for today, and she is back in her napping position. But we have finished up, and next week we will be sewing it all together. So I hope it goes well. Hopefully it does, and we're going to be going through just some safety points so that the harness doesn't break away when she pulls on it. So hopefully it works. See you next time.